As Congressman Delahunt indicated, it is the responsibility of the police to conduct an investigation to determine the cause and manner of death. So in this case, the Braintree police and then the state police all interviewed Ms. Bishop and her mother on the night in question. The Braintree police did, I should say, and then later the state police. In this particular case, once again, the medical examiner and the police determined it was an accident, meaning there was no criminal homicide. Now, there have been statements made by the current district attorney, and quite frankly, I have no way of knowing, but I think they may have been as a result of speculation in the media about manslaughter and reckless and wanton conduct. No allegations were ever made about manslaughter or reckless and wanton conduct. The medical examiner, who's required to report negligence to us, never reported that this death occurred as a result of negligence, much less reckless and wanton conduct, but that simply it was an accident. Not all accidents, without more, are criminal. There has to be some further evidence of negligence and wanton and reckless conduct. Now, with regard to the police, you had no less, and I'm just, reviewing these Braintree police reports, and I can see myself, there were no less than 4 or 5 Braintree officers who all assessed the credibility of this Mrs. Bishop and the daughter. That would be Carey, Bucher, Lieutenant Sullivan, somebody named Captain Damacott, Chief Polio. I'm reading news accounts now that some officers were actually going to the house that night and bringing food baskets and expressing their condolences. The current district attorney has acknowledged himself that there was no evidence at the time to contradict that it was an accident. Even with the new reports, he also says there was no evidence to contradict the account that it was an accident. Now, let's talk about, just for a second, the elephant that's in the room, okay? We all know what's happened afterwards, and we have now a pretty documented history of Ms. Bishop's activities after this happened throughout the years, and most particularly the shootings in Alabama. Now, when you see all of that, it's easy to understand why the media, the public, and quite frankly, I or any other reasonable person would look back at this case and say, well, wait a minute, was the mother being truthful? Were the police deceived? Did she lie to the police? Was it an intentional homicide? Those are perfectly natural questions to ask, but it's important for you to understand that even if the mother is not believed as to her account, that's the only account of what happened. Absent any compelling contradictory evidence, the district attorney right now would be conducting an investigation into the murder. There's no statute of limitations as to murder. If he believed there was a basis to pursue a murder investigation, he would be. So I think it's important to keep your eye on the ball here, and it really isn't about what you may believe happened or not believed happened. It's about what the evidence showed, and the only evidence in this case, right up until today, and the current district attorney acknowledges that, is that it was an accident and there is nothing existing to contradict it. Now, let's move on to what I do think, and Congressman Delahunt touched on this, is a very important remaining issue in this case, and that is the aftermath of the shooting. When Ms. Bishop left the house, confronted Mr. Doyle and Mr. Pettigrew, pointed shotguns at them, was walking around with a shotgun, making bizarre statements about, I just had a fight with my husband, he's trying to kill me, all of that. She was apprehended someplace in Braintree Square, as I understand it, and I now understand it, and brought back to the Braintree Police Department. Now the issue, and this is an important issue, and should be focused on, and I understand why it is, and it should be, is she should have been, obviously, arrested for those charges. She should have been booked. She should have been processed. Complaints should have been sought in the Quincy District Court for assault with a dangerous weapon. Actually, 2 counts as opposed to 1, as the district attorney suggested. Carrying a dangerous weapon, possession of ammunition. She should have been before the court for a determination by the court as to whether she should be released, whether she should be bailed, what the conditions of bail would be, whether she should be, as a result of her conduct afterwards and some of the statements she made and the way she was appearing to the police, a psychiatric exam done by the court's psychiatrist, possibly, if the judge felt there was a sufficient basis to do so, some sort of commitment for a further examination. All of those opportunities and all of that process and procedure should have occurred, and in the normal course would have occurred, and that was the responsibility of the Braintree Police Department to do that. You have Chief Frazier a couple of weeks ago holding a press conference and suggesting very directly that there was a cover-up. He then stated at the press conference that he had information from somebody he talked to, the booking officer apparently, who's now retired, that Chief Polio or somebody in the command staff intervened to interrupt the arrest process, the booking process, and caused Ms. Bishop to be released. Now that's a very serious allegation, and it's one that the current district attorney in his review owes not only to the public, but the law enforcement community and the institution of the Office of District Attorney an answer to that question. Did that happen? There has to be some accountability as to the issue of how Ms. Bishop got released from the station that night without those charges being filed. As part of that or review, as they're describing it, there has to be a determination made as to why the Braintree Police did not inform Trooper Howe about the aftermath and the need for charges in connection with what happened afterwards. There are continuing questions, just to name a few. That I want to mention as well. At the press conference, Chief Frazier indicated that, in some form of words, that officers at the time were outraged and upset over what had happened. Part of the review should include why these police officers, including Chief Frazier, never came forward and brought this information to the attention of the district attorney or some other superior law enforcement agency. There should also be a determination in this review as to why it is that Chief Frazier is saying now that there are these reports, Braintree police reports, were missing for 22 years. He indicates in his statement that he knew they were missing for some period of time. Why wasn't this ever reported? Why at the press conference are statements still being made, which appear to be that there were 3 shots fired, that there was some evidence that the girl had a fight with her brother? I've yet to see any statements that support either one of those 2 statements. So is that accurate? Is there further information that's being withheld intentionally or unintentionally?